Welcome back to Threshold of Revelation. This is session 48, entitled Bagman. Last session, the group had dinner with Deception, in the process of which learned that he was not entirely keen on winning the political discourse between him and Fabulous Shen in winning the right to have the conglomerate people who are vaunted guests of Panacea stay in his house. Instead, he was willing to cede that to Shen to allow Shen that privilege. Um, there were some final situations in the conversation with Deception. We've mostly handled them behind the scenes, and they weren't terribly important or video worthy. So we're just going to move through to the point where you are heading over to Shen's to stay the night. Um, you would come out to his establishment, and as you saw it last time, there was a set of double doors that I don't believe anybody actually entered into the building, um, but we will go ahead and do that now. It's pretty haphazard and kind of.
You have everybody except for me in the wrong spots on cameras.
That's hilarious. Um, Fixing now. But I will get you here in the map.
Sorry to interrupt.
No worries. Is there anything that you want to do preemptively that you would like to kind of discuss amongst yourselves as you move to the Shen, like plans of attacks, um, anything to that effect?
We don't really know much about a Bagman. We're aware of they do exist, but are rare.
Well, no. Not even sure whether or not they exist or not.
Okay, we've heard of them.
So basically, think of the Bagman as kind of like a John Dupre setting version of the Bogeyman. However, it specifically operates for magic users, conjurers, and people who utilize magic items that create pocket dimensions or have pocket dimensions stored within them. Be it a Heward's Handy Haversack, Bag of Holding, Portable Hole, the casting of like demi-planes, these kind of effects. Basically, there's an understanding.
Grove of useful items.
Grove of useful items, correct. Also, so there's an understanding that these things are not basically being manifested out of thin air. Instead, what's happening is they're being generated in a plane that's this subdivide, somewhere in between all spaces. Um, it's not a well-known quantity, but some people are capable of shaping it to form bags, form demi-planes, etc. But rather, the thing that's not really understood is like the breadth of it. And some people have, over time, either falsely or accurately, reported things going missing from their bags of holding, reported people going missing around bags of holding or other demi-plane-like objects. Um, yeah, entire buildings being taken away. Like, it's usually put up to what is colloquially known as the Bagman, a person or thing that is capable of maneuvering through these demi spaces and extracting. Whether or not that's a real thing or not is not known.
It was this game at the pyramid where we found the fake bag, right?
Correct.
To eat you. Okay, just want to make sure.
So, Deception wants us to confirm or figure out what is actually happening with the things.
Correct.
Okay.
Uther has a new greatest fear.
What's that?
Bagman.
The Bagman.
Oh, okay. I don't like heights.
In game, I've not yet realized that your coat is also one, but I got a real close eye on Splug in the backpack since he stuck the other bag inside of it.
Slug's a good boy.
I'm just quietly freaking out over here.
Okay. So I'm going to move us into the map, and we're going to take a grand tour of the space. It's currently in night mode because that's when we'll be kind of up. Go ahead.
Would Deception have given us any... Does he know of any high dollar items that Shen is holding currently that could be of interest for Shen to have stolen, for example?
Ooh, that's a good question. So
If we're just camping out next to a bag and nothing happens, we've achieved nothing.
he's lying.
Yeah. If our only lead is a urban myth,
100% good question. Very good investigatory work there, my friend. He would say that the most prominent and renowned object was an item that was recovered by the guild from the pyramid, or from the not the pyramid. Sorry,
from the dig site, the tomb of the
the
emperor,
tomb of the
king.
God King. Um,
Gotcha.
I can see how you thought it was the Emperor because the God Emperor of mankind. Okay.
Some,
Well, anyways,
there is some important hole.
so they say they have it is an item that doesn't really have like a name or anything. It just tells you what the description of it is, and you'll, as I describe it to you, you'll understand why it wouldn't be hard to miss and why it might be so readily wanted. It is a 4 foot wide golden scarab, and all across the shell of the thing are diamonds, rubies, and emeralds. And basically, it's just this very kind of just brightly vibrant, effectively plate or shield that is covered with gemstones and gold.
Wow,
What,
that's
what
amazing.
kind of bag was that in? Because it
So-
sounds like something that wouldn't fit in a standard bag of holding.
No, no,
right?
no. What I would say, and yeah, you could shove a 4 foot wide. You could shove a shield in a bag of holding.
Okay.
Yeah, you
I
could.
thought it had a limit.
What's the
Well,
diameter
yeah,
of the shield?
It's not super heavy. Like no, it's 4 foot. Like it's 4 foot wide. Like it's like a shield,
Okay.
or a little wider than a shield, I guess. Is
I could have sworn that a bag of holding has like a limited entrance. If he has a larger than average bag of holding, that's totally fine. If he's
let me check because you do bring up
banker
a good
merchant
point.
man,
I might have to shift the size of the device. So the mouth,
2 foot diameter.
2 foot in diameter. So yeah, it would have to be 2 foot wide. So it's
And
4
4
foot
feet
long.
deep, so
4 foot
that's
long
fine.
is the scarab, and then 2 feet wide. About the same size as a shield. Okay,
Good enough.
good catching me on it. Like I guess the way I was
he's
thinking
got a
of it,
very fancy step ladder.
the way I was thinking of it was circular, but it probably because it's a beetle would be kind of more oblong. So that's fair enough. But yeah, the item was recovered by the guild from the tomb, given to Shen for holding, and upon attempt to reacquire it, it was told that it was gone. So this is an item that is confirmed
Gone.
missing, but
Okay.
if you do see it there, then obviously it would immediately prove that he is not telling the truth.
Just chasing a lead, so we're not just camping outside of a bag hoping for a
That's,
monster.
that's good. And further question for that is, how many known bags does he keep items in for the town?
So it's dozens. Yeah, it's
You'd have
well,
to have like a whole storage room for
Yeah.
bags.
it's well in the ballpark of hundreds. Like
Okay.
it's
Does,
over 100, and it's
Are
less.
they like safety deposit boxes at a bank?
Yeah,
He's got a warehouse of holding.
it's basically
A
like
bank of holding.
it's more than 100. It's less than 500. It's somewhere in there. And this map is
So-
definitely showing more than
He could just be switching bags, or does the person go in and physically place the item
so
themselves?
if a bag is
He's got to document it. He
yeah,
must be documenting.
documenting is key. If it's a specific individual who is like trafficking with Shen more prominently, they'll basically be given their own bag or box of holding, which is like a treasure chest, similar to a bag of holding, but I think it's like 5 times the dimensions of a normal bag of holding. And it weighs 125 pounds instead of 25 pounds at rest. So yeah, they would basically be given their own kind of space for rent. But if it's someone who's just like coming and wants to hold one specific item, he'll stuff it into whatever bag or space he has available, notate it, and be able to notate like what bag has what in it.
But does it work like a modern bank, like a 2-key system?
It again,
Or does he have the option to just open whatever bag he wants and make things disappear?
well, I can't give you too much information regarding that. No, the bag
That's
is,
something we don't know.
so yeah, the bag is the bag. Like it definitely doesn't have like an interlocking kind of like positionality.
Right, but no, like, but it's not kept in like a safe in a storeroom somewhere, like a bank vault.
Oh, yeah. So yeah, it would be. So I mean,
Like, does Shen have the ability to go in and take
Deception
things
would-
out without the owner's knowledge?
deception would tell you that they are inside of when you first enter into the space. On the right side of the room, there is a staircase, and then right next to that is a door. Inside of that door is an iron cage, which bars entry into the space beyond that. And inside of that space are stone boxes. Inside of those boxes are the bags of holding. Or in the much larger cases, beneath them are boxes that have the chests of holding inside of them. And if you want, I'll go ahead, since we're asking this question, and it's not something Shen would hide from you, because again, you're here to, stay the night. So if you're going to get the tour, but if you look inside of that space, you'll see kind of what I'm talking about there. It's just like a bunch of different boxes and chests and structures that are kind of filled with these bags of holding.
Okay, but looking at it, there's nothing that prevents him from going in and tampering with any of this stuff whenever he wants.
Yeah, he would be the key holder, so it definitely would be possible for him to go in and fuck with it for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the first floor. Also on the first floor, what he would show you is that there is his office. Inside of his office, since you're staying and you are an honored guest of the conglomerate, he would show you that behind his desk on the left side, or right if you're sitting at the desk, there is a secret door that leads through a couple of different spaces here into a library. This library is also where you'll see he has some paperwork on his desk, where archives older than 12 months go. So he basically has decades and decades of material regarding his backlog of keeping people's stuff and paperwork and the like. There is a staircase that leads upwards, and if you go up there as well, I'll go ahead and move. Go ahead and move into that library space real quick, and then I will move you to the upstairs. So down here, you can see there's a staircase that goes up. It comes up here. And there's just more freaking books and papers. There is, out of this space, double checking my notes, a doorway on the left side there, but this just leads out into an alcove space inside of the structure. I can move us back to the big
Are we
map.
all meant to see what you're talking about?
Well, I'm mainly just moving one person around. If you need me to move you in,
That's fine. That's fine. Just you're
Yeah.
fine.
Basically, I'll do that anyways. Here, we'll just group you all up in a block, and I'll just start moving you around. All
Sorry.
willy-nilly. No, it's okay. You're making a sound point. So then, this
And
is the
did
library.
we get a name? Did we get a name for the artifact, the beetle thing?
No.
Okay.
This would be the upstairs of that library. This doorway leads to kind of effectively a fire escape, kind of like an escape into the outside of the building. But this isn't the side of the building. This would be in the interior of the building. Hard to explain from a visual point of view, but promise it makes sense. We're not going to go out there though. And then
Like in his shop.
so yeah, well, his shop is kind of that first chamber that you went into. Like he has some bits and baubles out on the front that are for sale. When those are brought back in, they just come into that front chamber, the foyer, and kind of sit out there. His shop is exterior, and then the
Okay.
banking portion and the merchant kind of networking is like his real business.
Just for clarity, that lower map you had us in, that is directly above where we're currently standing.
No, that is the doorway. Like you can see, there's a passageway on the left side there. It's behind it. And then the map below that. Sorry, the map below that. You're right. Sorry. Yes, above where you're currently standing.
Okay,
Yes.
so like that fire escape thing would drop back into his office, presumably.
It could do. Yeah.
It kind of points that direction.
Correct.
Okay.
Now, when you're brought back out to this space, what you'll note is that there are two staircases. There's a staircase down. If you ask about that, he says it just leads down to the basement. There's really not anything down there that's terribly important. You'd also notice that there's a chair with a billy club sitting on it in the front room. And you haven't You have seen, since you have had dinner here, you have seen that there are people who kind of muster about, who are kind of like armed guards, like a security detail for like a bank. There's about 3 or 4 of them that you've noticed, and you'll be kind of led up to their kind of. Oh god, this is gonna suck. But here we go. Basically, you're led up. If you need any help, security is up in this floor, and that would be the staircase that leads up to the left in the front chamber. Okay? And that would be the guard's chamber to the left, and then to the right goes down. And then inside of the secret space that you were in, and then up through this door here on the top right, snapping so it goes up there. This leads into a staircase that goes upwards. And then in this space, this leads to the very top floor of that space. I know, a bit discombobulating. And then inside of this space is where you'll be staying. He says there are a total of 3 beds. He says that one of the rooms has a cot. That would be the master room, which will allow for a 4th person to sleep. He says that he is aware that elves don't require any sleep, but unfortunately he does not have a 6th space, so someone's going to have to just put their bedroll out on the floor and crash. Alright. And I'll open up all those doors and you can explore the space as you like. There's a bathroom and
Shed's totally cool. That's just wandering around his house after.
Okay. Totally fine with it.
Well, cool guy.
I'm just gonna come out with it. What's a bagman?
Oh, Deception mentioned him. Well, it's been a problem plaguing me due to my storage methods of late. It is a thing that I have been told is what it's called. A lot of the items in my bag of holding have gone missing and have been removed from my registrar. When I try to call them up from the bags, they don't come forth. And it's a problem. I have taken to, in the last few months, sealing the bags of holding in stone boxes so that if anything gets out of the bags, they aren't able to get out of the bags, as items that weren't even in bags were being taken. It has proven to be a plague on my business, and I have taken also to moving things into a bit more of a sturdy capacity, but unfortunately that means that my second building, which is out of character note, the building to the north, kind of you, is mainly where the dining room was, that you were kind of mustered into. Actually, no, you ate outside. Never mind. But you would know that his other building has like a dining room, more fabulous in it, and then you'd also know that it has some storage space, but it's not on map because it's kind of just sealed. He would show it to you and you would note that there's no bags of holding in this space. It's where he started to kind of, as a contingency, start storing things because the bags of holding are malfunctioning. He says all new storage will be done physically.
When did you first discover you had an issue with a bagman?
It was the better part of 6, maybe 12 months ago. It has been quite the problem, to be sure. If I can't have a reliable storage method that is space-saving, it's definitely going to prove an issue for me, as my establishment is not an unlimited space, and I will need to find methods of storing more.
When did you last audit the items that you have in these bags?
Shortly after the first attack, but then as stuff started becoming more reluctant to reveal itself when called upon. I have pretty much just thrown my hands up in exasperation. It is a minor circumstance. I wouldn't say that it is. On first audit, it was somewhere around 2% of all articles placed into the effects. If, without performing a more recent audit, I would say that this has risen to at least 10%. 10% of all items and articles that have been placed inside of these spaces have been lost.
That is not insignificant, Shen.
You're not wrong. And I'm assuming that deception is of a mind that I am lying.
I believe
seemed
he's
more
more
like he was
concerned for a
concerned.
colleague.
He didn't outright say it, but he's starting to come around with his Bagman idea. Sonat had heard of it.
Well, I
I just
assure
know
you.
of the rumor of the entity being a thing, but have never encountered one or known anyone that had encountered one.
You have full access as magical magistrates of the conglomerate to every space that I have available to me. If you wish to see the basement, if you wish to see the adjoining house, any space that you wish to see, I will not leave to be off limits to you. You are more than welcome to search my house to assuage the curiosities of my confederate. I am absolutely fine with that. I do not mind at all.
I don't care about any of that. If this thing's real, I'm losing my mind.
Well, I assure you,
More
How
of
mu-
wanting to make
how
sure
mu-
that
How much research have
everyone's
you put
safe.
into this?
The new conglomerate is a little jumpy.
well, I assure you, I am not lying to you. And beyond a thief that is capable of getting past me and my security, the only thing that has been put forward to us as a possible culprit is this Bagman myth. I have not seen him myself, so I can't say that for certain that it exists, but someone is capable of entering into my extra dimensional spaces and removing articles from them. The most horrifying matter that I have seen up to date was in the morning. I checked a bag to ensure that it had an article for a patron of mine, and when they arrived in the afternoon to recover it, it was not there.
What security do you have in place?
I have a total of 4 guards placed here in the house. If you would like to investigate further and discuss with them possibilities, you are more than welcome. And what were you going to say, Shodi?
I'm looking at something on the shelf
Okay.
and accidentally drop it and break it, and
Okay.
kind of look and say I was searching. There's nothing in there. And
What?
start trying to go through other stuff.
So as you kind of drop that and break it, and everyone kind of goes silent, kind of looks at you, and Shen's kind of looking at you, and no one really picks up after you say, "There's nothing in there." Kind of awkwardly moving back to the table or to the shelves. Shen doesn't say anything. Just
We'll
kind
clean
of
that up.
looks to Uther and Sanat and Bodhi, kind of just what? Confused look on his face.
We'll pay for that.
It's not a problem. Again, you are my welcome guests. If you feel it's necessary to break articles of my property to investigate, it's not a
No,
problem.
we certainly don't. Could you tell me what manner of articles have gone missing? Is there perhaps any link between what was taken?
Yeah, so he would show you a list after taking you kind of into his office. It would be in his side cabinet at his desk, basically on hand. Like he's kind of been updating it rather recently. Looking at it, Bodhi, being not terribly familiar with the written word in like penmanship. I mean,
You
like,
feel?
I mean, you can read, but I don't think you would be like a calligraphist. Do you have
I'm
calligraphy?
not a color. No.
Okay, so Sanat, as you're kind of
He's got his fancy lettering.
as you're overlooking it, what you would notice is that the kind of bottom entry appears to be relatively fresh. just based on the coloration of the archival ink. Like it's very much kind of newer writing. Looking at all of the items, you have kind of small descriptions, but most of them have reference numbers to other documents. And he kind of gestures towards the secret door on the back wall and gestures towards the books in his office and would say, that is where you'll find the materials that you will need regarding any searches that you are wishing to engage in.
But he doesn't have an answer for if there any general link between the items that are gone. Are they all weapons? Are they all...
They are
Just-
not all weapons, so there's been no link that I've been able to identify, but
Okay.
establishing such links isn't really my forte. I apologize.
Are they all very valuable?
Relatively, yes.
I mean, if they're paying him to hold on to them, it makes sense for them to be valuable.
I'm looking for a link here, fellas.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sentimental value's through the roof.
The little girl's violin. Well, I'm going to hang up my coat
He would say too.
in the room with all the other bags of holding, just in case.
If you are interested, the last space that I can give you, there's a quiet space for you to kind of sit at the top of the tower here, and I'll move you all to that space together, so you have all of the spaces that are available to you thus far on the map. And the other fun fact about this map is that if you move from one point to another, like you just pick up your token and move it to the other map, you should be able to move through walls in this map.
Okay.
Yep.
We'll be doing a lot of maneuvering throughout the house.
Right.
But just to be sure, so
We're
this,
playing Clue.
yep, this space here in the top left that you can see of this map leads to the space where the stairs look similar on your kind of where you're staying map. And then this down here, which is this kind of staircase that goes out, you can see there's a small staircase part here. That leads to the wind that leads up to the room you're in currently. And then those are connected. And then they're all connected to the door here at the top of the first floor of the book section. And then the top floor of the book section connects to it via the staircase. And then the guardhouse is directly on the side of the foyer, and then below the foyer is the dungeon. And if you like, I can move you to the dungeon if you want access to it as well.
I would like to go there.
Okay. 1 second. And when he said basement, he did seem kind of specific on that terminology, but then as you kind of make your way down there, he starts referring to it as a dungeon. And he explains that this place is similar to his holdings. However, this one is specifically for holding prisoners. The magistrates of the town are not the greatest at holding prisoners of import. So he will take money to hold prisoners who are require a bit more specific care concern. And if you move around the space, you'll see that there's a torture chamber on the left side. And there are prison cells on the
Guy
right
sure
side.
is fabulous.
Nobody in the prison cells.
There are currently no prisoners, correct?
No trolls in the dungeon.
No trolls in the dungeon. There'd just be one of his 4 guards. So the 3 primary ones, one's kind of like out and about, kind of towards the middle floor. The other 2 are taking up watch points on balconies on the kind of top floors of the building. And then there's one down here.
Seems like you got plenty of beds.
Yeah.
Decent amount. Just guest beds. The beds that they sleep on are of kind of leans in a lower quality.
These things are awesome.
Oh, you're talking about the torture
They
beds?
Murphy against
Yeah.
Murphy against the wall.
He lays down on the steel. He's just like, oh, this feels so great. This is the best rest I've gotten.
That pillowy stuff in the hotels ruins my
that's
bed.
the last bed we
Arthur
need.
can't stand those soft mattresses. He needs a good firm.
A good
He
firm
said, "I don't need to use a bedroll. I'll just sleep down here."
steel
I'm used to
slab.
piles of rocks. This is great.
It's funny. But yeah.
And no part of this dungeon passes under the safe, right?
No.
Is there any other part of the house that would
Wait.
pass below or above it?
Hold on, sorry. Yeah, answer
so.
still no. Yeah. So basically, overlay wise, it comes down from this staircase, and then it wraps around to here. So actually, like the basement is kind of over in this direction. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The foundation is different than the basement. The basement's kind of like an underground space that's actually a little bit more underneath, like the front yard and the circle.
So these two lower staircases stack.
So this staircase here connects to this staircase here, right?
Oh, okay.
And then this staircase goes up, and it goes to
Got it.
here.
And what about this door here? Do we know what that goes to?
That goes to the shitter. Yeah.
Okay.
No, that's okay.
I didn't know if this was another like storage room that he
I'll
just
begin
didn't
my
mention or
investigation
what?
there.
No worries. I do want you to know all the space, but yeah, there's definitely a realism to the space. There are bathrooms. There are bathrooms on the floor that you are on. In the basement, you can see there's the one. Looks like it's kind of got a bunch of junk near it too, so it looks like they've been using it for storage. And some of the junk that's present here, you'll see that there are a couple of boxes that are buried underneath a lot of the tools and junk that look like the boxes that were in the safety deposit spot up above.
Yeah, is that what this pile of junk is that I'm standing in?
There are a couple of boxes that have the same kind of look to the ones up above, but the rest of it looks like just like tools for the torturing, tools for like house generation and such. But there looks like there's a shitter in the back end that, like, you know, you kind of have to finagle to get
Climb
to,
over.
but you can get to it without climbing anything. It's just kind of like over there, you know.
Orders,
I'm
man.
gonna just knock some stuff around here. There's nothing weird about this wall down here.
Yeah, nothing's weird about the wall. Again, the boxes are present, and then while you're knocking stuff over, you'll note that they are empty, and they have bags in them. And when you go to kind of take the bags, you'll notice that the bottoms have been cut out, and it almost looks like an animal clawed its way out of the bags.
I'm gonna hand that to somebody smarter than me.
So now you take it and kind of look at the bag, and it looks
There's
like
only one person in the party.
it looks like a bag of holding that
It
has
is actually.
been lanced open.
What do you think I'm here for?
You would know that if a bag of holding has a piercing object enter into it, it's capable of cutting open the physical bag, displacing the extra dimensional space
Contents.
back into where it came from, and then creating just a physical bag with no rift. And so it looks like something inside of the bag with three or more, at least three talon-like objects tore its way out of the bag, or was used to rip open the bag.
Would it be like investigate or nature to determine like what kind of animal it would have been?
Sure. Nature if you're trying to consider it as an animal. Investigation if you're trying to determine what we've already learned. It's been ripped open by three talon object.
Hey,
So, yeah, investigation. You're 100% certain that this tear came from inside of the bag. It was an outward ejection of sharp materials that caused the bag to stop functioning. It's very strange to note that the contents would have probably came out very suddenly or been drifted off into the astral sea. It doesn't look like either of those things happened, because you would kind of see astral essence on the edges of the bag as it was kind of pulled in with the objects, or you would have seen like more tearing from objects being sputtered out of the bag. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
can we ask Shen what these bags are?
Shen would say, yeah, they are bags we found that we believe the Bagman had gotten to, and since we haven't had any means for throwing them away because we don't know an artificer or crafter that is capable around these parts. We don't know if they can be fixed or not. So we invested quite a bit in them, 250 gold pieces apiece. So we're not ready to throw them away yet. But they are definitely remnants of us losing a few of the objects that have already been mentioned.
Is this all of the damaged bags and boxes?
There's only 2 of them down here. Some of them didn't have any signs of damage. It's just objects inside of the bags would just be gone. I don't know if you're familiar with a bag of holding. He would explain that as you kind of put your hand in the bag of holding, you would know the contents of it. You will it to the top, and you take it out. It's not a reach around, fumble around for what you're looking for and grab it. And the only way to get, if you don't know what's inside of it, the only way to get the objects is to fold it out and pour it out. He would say that, and it wasn't a misplacement. It definitely wasn't a misplacement. So the objects were in the bags that we sought, but then they were not.
And we think, and you're pretty sure it's because of the bag,
It-
or like
I don't know what else it could be at this point.
What
are
all
the
do we-
odds- Go ahead.
What all do we know about a bagman? What is the lore
We've
of
already-
a bagman?
We've already covered that last session.
Very
Yeah, it's
little.
not much. There's not much.
it's
I mean,
literally almost nothing yet. Can I? Whenever we were whenever I was asking him about the bagman, can I use smell intentions to see if he was telling the truth?
Yeah, go ahead and make an insight check.
It just says then the DM tells you if it was the truth or not.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go ahead and have you make an insight check as well.
Okay. The inside.
So, he definitely smells like he is in a nervous state where he is telling you what he feels is accurate, but there's something off about his scent. There's something kind of like, there seems to be kind of like some sort of, he's being very open with everything, but at the same time, he seems like his smell is very guarded. And it feels like deception, like a lie is being kind of foisted here. But as you think about it more and more, what you're realizing is he very much doesn't know whether or not he sounds crazy when he's telling you there is a thing called a bagman, which is not a thing that is something he can prove. I mean, you would know that it's more of a, he feels very awkward saying what he's saying.
Gotcha. Okay.
What are the odds that the bags that have already been targeted are just leading it back here again?
The issue is we don't have enough physical space or security to protect the objects that are currently being held here. So what we would need to do is secure a method for us to move the material to a safer place. Even with the situation as it stands, it is still technically the safest place for the objects.
According to what we've heard, the bagman appears inside a bag.
That is what it
That's,
Yeah, but it
that's what
doesn't-
I was
he
trying to
doesn't-
get.
He doesn't have the. It's not like that bag specifically, because like how would he have gotten into that? It's like he can traverse the.
Any bag, yeah, he's in
Yeah.
that extra dimensional space.
Yeah, and it's like the lore is that we don't know how or why or what created them, how they got there, how they left, when to expect them.
But the fact that he's already been in a bag here, what are the odds that putting bags or items closer together increases the probability of him showing up?
It does seem like a lot
And
of
we may
bags
not
in
even
one
be able to
place.
like,
Shit.
if we were sitting there with the bags, we may not even know if he comes and takes anything because it may not be something.
He's coming
that-
from the other side.
But this isn't a problem that. So, I gained the idea upon going to Savarius Academy and learning of the way that they store their artifacts and items. They do the same thing. I don't understand, and to a much higher quantity than I do, I assure you. So, if your thought process was accurate, and that were the case, if more bags near one another made it more likely that they were targeted, well, I mean, just by its nature, I suppose that's true. But at the same time,
Did these things start upon receiving something from the tomb that you've been excavating?
They started about a year ago. The tomb has been being excavated for, and you would kind of think about it, and he would say, yes, about that long.
So did we take something from the tomb we shouldn't have? And this sounds like we might have put something in there that we shouldn't have, and maybe it's not a bagman, maybe it's something from the tomb doing this?
I can go through my records and see what is on offer, but as I'm sure you're already aware, and you've been touring the house for the better part of, in game, obviously we've been here for about 40 minutes. It's probably been a little longer than that, but keep in mind the timing. You just finished dinner, which started at 7, so you're probably close to 8:30, 9 o'clock here, and he's kind of been walking you around. So as he kind of answers that question, he says, I can get you all that information, but it is late, and I do need to rest. I could do it first thing, first light.
Oh, don't stay up on our account. We, with your permission, we'd like to have a look further.
I cannot stress this enough, my friends. You are representatives of the conglomerate. The dearest friends I've had in my endeavors here. It was a conglomerate mage who took me to Severice Academy and gave me this idea. It was very much the conglomerate who've given me the efforts or the capabilities to be able to work my merchanting here in Panacea. You have absolutely everything I can offer to you, within good reason, of course. You are welcome to travel anywhere within this space that you wish, and you can ask any of the people I have under my employ any questions that you wish. And if it helps
We're
you
very grateful.
in solving this matter, then so much the better. Do you know if Deception had mentioned if this was a belief held amongst most of the courtiers?
As I said, I think it felt more that he was just worried about whatever it is or could be.
I don't think he gave much mention to any of your other peers.
I'm not sure many of them know.
Well, I think he made it.
Everybody
I
had
think
a certain
I think
tier
everyone knew
knows.
because it means that he
Oh.
has had like
Well,
an impact on
fine.
everyone. But I don't. He didn't really make it seem like it was. He said that it's just something he knew nothing about, and most people wouldn't unless they were educated in those things or knew of the lore or anything like that.
Well, I'll leave it to your capable hands. I will show you the last space that is, I have not shown you as of yet, just so you are sure where I will be. He leads you back into his office. He then walks over to this box here, opens it, and pulls a rope out, and then kind of pulls the rope open as if it were a noose. As he does so, Sanat, you realize that this is a permanency that's been cast for the spell Rope Trick. And when he opens it up, you see that inside there's an extra dimensional space that seems to lead into another part of the house. However, this other part of the house looks like it's the same, but you definitely get a vibe that it's different. Like it's a demi-plane that he's currently walking into. And I'm going to put everybody on the same portion of the map as we move to it. And again, it's inside of this chest here in his room. Grab.
Are we going to be extra dimensional travelers? Is that what's happening here?
It happens.
It happens.
Okay.
It happens by accident.
I have
A
a
lot.
out of character question. I might have missed this, but did we learn whether or not there's more than one bag man? Are there bag men?
You don't even know if a bag
Shit,
man
maybe.
exists.
We don't. It's only a myth. Like we have no
What
idea.
about the
if it
bag
sounds
women and
more like it
children?
could've been like a curse or I don't know.
Okay.
So-
okay.
Something.
When you walk
sounds
into
like-
the treasure chest, it goes onto a staircase that leads down into this hallway. Around the hallway, there's a chair. Then there's a nice little space that kind of moves around to his room. And if you go inside, you would see that it is a very lavish-looking master bedroom. It's got a shitter, some other books. If you ask to peruse them,
A skull on the desk.
there is a skull on the desk, but more precisely, Sanat, make a religion check. And I would
Oh,
say, Nix, you can as well.
Oh, religion? Did you say?
Yes.
Oh.
Very good.
Oh, not nearly as good, but
So
yeah.
Nyx, it's just a skull. Looking at it, it does seem to have some gems kind of about it. Like the teeth have been replaced with gemstones, and the eyes have been replaced with gemstones. So not when you look at it, you realize that it is not just a skull or a paperweight. It appears to be a holy symbol, specifically for a dead power known as Tok. Tok the Seeker. Tok the Seeker was a magic god that was important to the progenitors of the conglomerate. That were basically magic worshippers. He was known as a foreign power that entered into the space from some other multiverse or some other plane in the multiverse, and was a demilich. But was killed in a horrendous fashion by a number of people who now currently sit on the seats of power in the 13 hells, the demon princes. Demon princes basically butchered Tok. Duron, Vise, Grumnar, and Teffington were the main four. Vanity, corruption, wrath, and deception.
Isn't Ashmedea one of those princes?
Is one of the princes, but wasn't one of the ones that
Okay.
murdered.
One of the ones that right. Making sure I got my
Yep.
big beds straight.
She is greed.
So that skull's maybe bad news, huh?
I would explain to everyone what it is, I guess.
And he would kind of look at you and say, truly, not understanding the context. Immediately upon that kind of statement, Ezekiel, you kind of go and realize that was not he's not trying to foist some sort of, he's not faking that he doesn't know what it means. It very much seems that he is absolutely, taken aback as Sanat explains what it is. And he says, well, if you want it, you can take it. It was a gift given to me by one of the Magir.
Not the God King, is it?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so.
A gift for what?
Just a gift, just friendship.
Not
We
a
give each
birth-
other
birthday or
gifts all the time.
some kind of national holiday.
I don't remember the context. I think it was oh, right. It was the establishment of my business. Once I had finalized everything with the conglomerate transactionally and had established my bank, my associate in the conglomerate gifted it to me.
When was that?
About a year ago. Maybe a little over a year ago. It was well before the tomb started its excavation.
Just like, oh my gosh.
About a year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, but my conglomerate mage friend, he was very helpful. In,
Who is your friend?
Who is this
Maybe we
conglomerate
know him.
patron?
You see him kind of look at you blankly. Huh.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Is this the same friend that brought you to the magic school?
It
His name I
was.
forgot.
He didn't mention the name then either. And now at this point he's saying, I don't remember. That's really strange.
It wasn't Reuben, was it? We've
No,
supposedly met him many times, and I assure you we have.
It definitely wasn't Reuben. I know for
Yeah,
certain.
because he doesn't exist.
I don't
Sanat.
like Reuben.
Did we just trigger some kind of spell?
And he'd kind of stare
This
blankly.
wasn't like Alizar, was it? Like Velodius?
Alazar is not a name that sounds familiar to me. I don't
No,
think
Sanat,
so.
I want you to do an Arcana thing and look at him and see if we've just triggered some type of spell.
Could I do
cast
two?
on him.
Yeah, if you want to make Arcana checks, you can try and figure out what's going on here.
Woof. Woof.
Well, Nyx can't.
No way. Oh, there you go, Sanat.
Sanat, there are,
Somebody studied magic.
there are
Yeah,
Glad I got all that
off.
intellect there.
I was goofing off.
there are spells that allow you to change the memory of an individual. Modify memory being one of the most notable ones, but allow you to basically force a forgetfulness in the target of your casting, or basically omit a person's entire name from a person's memory entirely. And based on what he's saying, he has memories of this person, but for whatever reason, he cannot tell you his name. And when you ask what he looks like, you also see that he is unable to put forward any details other than he can remember this person fondly.
If we started feeding him names, none of them's gonna grasp. But Callus,
It sounds like he can't.
Alizar,
So,
Ruben, who doesn't exist.
so that would tell you there's no recall that's probably going to be possible here yet.
But probably the only way to fix that would be whatever person put the spell on him to reverse it, if they were powerful enough to do that spell.
Yeah. What are you going to say, Brent?
Riziko's gonna pick up the skull thing.
Uh-huh.
Is it just so happened to be signed by anybody? Like, oh, to so and so from so and so.
We
To my
signed
fabulous
this
friend Shin, love.
Well, what you would
Julian
note,
Moore.
what you would note is that first off, it is a real skull. It is not a fake skull. It is a very real skull. The gemstones are very, 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 very expensive looking. Looking on the other side of it and then the interior, it looks like it has been filled with some sort of metal, and it definitely has a heft to it now. Probably a good like 5 pounds of skull and metal and gems in your hand. And the metal interior, it looks like it's kind of a silvery looking metal.
Is this skull
Gotcha.
enchanted in some way?
If
Can
you
we
cast
tell?
Detect Magic, you would be able to see if there's an aura about it. Do you?
Hold, please.
I can identify with my cool glasses if you'd rather.
Yes, I do have it. I was like, do I have Detect
You
Magic?
spend some time casting it as a ritual. You do so, and upon casting it, what you would note is this is a space entirely, has a glow to it because you are in an extra dimensional space. So you're kind of like everything about the space, from the the clawfoot bathtub to the skull in your hand, seems to have a glow to it, and it all seems to be about the same. However, this feels like it came from outside of the extra dimensional space, so you're pretty sure that this wasn't manifested like the objects around you. Similar to the book that's on the table, the knives that are kind of on the table as well, a couple of the linens and pillows that are on the bed, they have this strange kind of like, it's almost like a buffer field around it. Like it's allowed in the demiplane and has been here for a long time. So it's kind of like gotten trace magic added to it. But beyond that, it just looks mundane.
Well, he brought his own sheets in here. That's fair.
Yeah. Or he probably brought many extras. Like,
Right.
Quick question for out of game sanity sake.
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Pocket dimension that a rope trick creates.
Are similar in
Doesn't-
kind to a bag of holdings rope or extra dimensional spaces.
But it doesn't make a Blackmore bomb.
No, you're correct. It does not make a
Cool.
black. You can bring a bag of holding into a rope trick.
Got real scared for a minute. The Bodhi was about to explode.
I was going to say that Splug
I
was going to
probably would
wait
have
with the
noticed in
coat.
that situation.
There was
Oh.
there was a reason I took off the coat, and that's because I thought I'd end up inside one of these bags.
We have to explain a Blackmore bomb to Joseph. You know how a bag of holding in a portable hole explodes. So that has an actual name, like that effect in campaign setting. And the reason why is because people use it as a means of destroying others or stopping trains.
I kept trying to write black hole bomb, and my autocorrect just kept making it Blackmore.
So Blackmore is the name of the bomb, and eventually we'll describe why that's the case. But for now, it's just a easy method of kind of notating it.
Stop the shit out of a train.
Yes.
Sure does.
And the way
Straight to
the
hell.
way I imagine it is it was definitely something War of Sword and Serpent-esque that was happening. Like, people were using fucking extra-dimensional explosions in a cool-ass way.
Literally straight to hell. I think we got to go to heaven, though.
It's,
we
it's, the
ended up in heaven.
it's the Astral Sea, so it's going to be either heaven or hell, because it's both in my setting or on the same plane.
Right, but we got the good side.
Yeah.
We did some cool shit.
Okay.
So,
And I guess nothing else in here stands out other than like the things like that.
it was a book, some knives, and the linens.
But that just means that those are things that he brought in
That's
here.
probably like his journal.
Yeah. So the
And
book
have
at the
been
side
in-
table looks like it's just a piece of literature, something that he's reading, some sort of novelle of some sort.
Where did you get the idea to make this room?
Oh, I didn't make it. My friend was
Let's
the one.
call
who
him Carlos.
I think if you assign a name, he'll immediately forget it.
and that actually is 100% true. That
Oh shit, that's awesome.
that does happen.
He cannot assign a name or
If he like
description.
anytime he thinks of that person, he can talk about them, but he can't specifically
Okay,
talk about
okay.
them.
Right.
I'll keep giving him names.
He remembers the events around the person. He does not remember the person. So, like, in his memories now, as he's cycling through it, like, as he's trying to focus in on it, it's like there's this void of a thing there with
just
no
a hole in the picture.
with no voice. Instead, it's kind of just the script is entering into his head. Yeah, exactly. It's like a blank, dark body, like, on the screen in his head.
So I definitely think we should probably rest up so he can get us all the information on what they started from getting from the tomb, just in case that is it. But I also think we should just destroy this skull, maybe, possibly, and
Well,
maybe
we're gonna
whatever the
borrow the
item is.
skull
in case
and
No,
they
it
take it
doesn't have any.
outside.
It's not magical at all. It's mundane, so it shouldn't be.
He never said it was mundane.
The skull's
said
not
Monday.
mundane. The other
you could
things
not
are.
you could not see the difference between it and all of the other magical entities around you.
We're gonna take the skull
Fucking
outside, let
Jeremy.
him nap.
This Jeremy's talking top level shit.
So your ability to see it is muffled because you're inside a magical plane. Take it
Like
to
you're
the
looking
mundane
at-
area.
You're looking at a lantern inside a lighthouse.
Yes.
We need to
mean,
go. We need to
If it
go
was
somewhere else.
strong
That we
enough
can
to
look
do
at
all
this.
of this, I would probably be able to see it, but we could take it outside and cast the spell again if you'd like.
Yeah. It
Oh, you
actually
still, it lasts.
Yeah, last
Yeah, it
week.
lasts a while.
10 minutes.
So if you guys exit out, he's going to move to go to bed.
Would he care to sleep with us tonight?
No, there's nowhere else in this house that is as comfy as this. He gestures towards the bed.
This-
As much as I understand that, you have an extra dimensional being potentially stealing things from your extra dimensional spaces,
They've been doing it for like a year.
and
Yeah.
he's sleeping in one of them.
They're not the same, I don't think. I mean, if they were, I would have already. Right?
It's been happening for a year, I feel like. I mean,
I don't know. It's only harmed 10% of your inventory.
And what if this
Maybe
is
you're
also?
90% lucky.
I don't know what the equivalent is in world, but like a Jekyll and Hyde situation.
What if you're 90% lucky?
Also, the amount of us that gave a look after "Do you want to sleep with us tonight?" It really tickled me.
I love it. So
What if something is haunting you to the point that you are the one acting as the bagman without your own knowledge?
I don't think that would be the case. Where would I be putting everything?
There have been many times that I have cooked breakfast for my friends and accidentally ate it in the evening.
are these the guards that you're putting in here?
Yeah.
Scaring the hell out of me. These people just showing up.
Sorry. So I wanted to make sure if you wanted the opportunity to speak to the guards, you could. They very simple town guard looking folk. One of them looks like they're Ikashadi. Two of them look like they're Jernarin, or three of them look like they're Jernarin. So it's three lads and a lady. And the torturer, the one that was downstairs, would be the Ikashad guy with the mustache. Then the other three, if you are calling upon them to ask them questions, I can get you the names here in a second, if you'd like.
But if we do get outside and he's still got some magic detection on that skull,
Yep, it's
I have a free casting of Identify, if that could help at all with the cool glasses I wear.
So the skull is mundane when you get it out there.
It is.
But I will ask you, Sanat, to go ahead and make an Arcana check.
It would be great if this opened my page a little quicker.
Okay. So yeah, you're pretty sure that this is very much mundane. Looking at the underside, there does seem to have been a very strange kind of, possibly from moving it from extra dimensional space to material space, the silvery color of the metal on the interior has shifted to kind of like a green color. So in the material plane, the metal inside is kind of greenish in tone. But you don't think that matters. You think it might have just been kind of a like a planar nature of the metal. Like in the Feywild, stuff is kind of greener.
Yeah. Is there anything in this room that stands out while I still have the spell active?
In here, no, not really. The chest, obviously, with the rope trick in it. The door that you kind of moved in to go into the other side. When you first looked at it, it absolutely just looked like the wall. But when he shifted it and caused the door to shift, with the candelabra there on the side, or not candelabra, the torch sconce, basically very typical. Just pull the candle sconce down, kind of trapdoor thing. The door kind of shifted.
Your standard hidden door.
Yeah, but there appears to have been an illusion magic put on it, and you can kind of tell that it's currently like at rest. So if the door were closed using the same mechanism, that illusion magic would just kind of fill in and kind of create it so it doesn't look like there's a door there.
Clever.
Besides that, there really isn't much going on magically. Oh, sorry, yeah, the fireplace. That is not a real fire. It is a produced flame. A number of produced flames cast on different sticks to create the illusion of a fire. There is no heat in this room being generated from the flame.
I was wondering why there were so many fires here. Like,
Yeah, well,
but I
there's
guess it is nighttime now. But
mostly torchlight, but yeah, at nighttime it does get hot, it does get cold, so it does require heat. But at current, there's no heat being generated from those fires.
What's the ceiling height inside of like each level?
So it's kind of in my brain, like it's kind of like 12-ish feet. A little higher in the two book levels, probably somewhere around 15 feet. But yeah,
And how many total floors are there?
it's a hot mess. But the highest floor level is third or fourth.
And that's this guy over here. Is
That's
this
that little
tower?
tiny one, yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna in the office. I'm gonna stand on the ceiling,
Okay.
crouch, and use the wand of secrets.
Yep. So there is a secret door on the ceiling. It's very simple and mundane. It's near to, like right over the chair for the office desk. And when you push it open, which it goes up and out, it leads to that small little balcony area I was mentioning that would go back into the
The fire escape thing.
no, go yeah here. Yep.
I'm gonna step inside of there and just look around.
Yep. So you're back in the room with the books. Nothing too much different than
Okay.
when you were
And
here
then
last.
standing inside that space, I'm gonna cast the wand of secrets again.
Nothing here.
There's nothing within 30 feet of me
Correct.
in all directions.
Yep.
Okay, that should cover most of the house.
Correct.
Whatever. I guess I'll go through his documents.
Okay.
Try to trace back to if they're dated. Try to find like the earliest.
What is your do you have the background sage or no?
No,
I do.
I'm a folk hero slash.
Human.
Okay. So are you asking for anybody to help
Action
you
agent.
out?
Yeah, I guess I'll take that.
I was planning
smartphone.
to look. I was planning to look through the documents in the books,
Okay.
especially since I don't
All
have
right.
to sleep.
All right, this
So-
is your idea.
Since
Me
we're
and
kind of
Splug are there though.
funneling about, let's go ahead and actually just point everyone in a direction. So Jeremy, we got you searching for trapdoors, secret doors, and the like. Great. We're gonna set that for now. We'll give you another option when we rotate through. Then Chody, what is Silas doing?
I don't really know. He was looking around, poking. He doesn't know what he's doing.
Okay.
He doesn't
He's
have
not
any-
breaking anything.
He's breaking stuff. He's absolutely breaking stuff.
He could be in the dungeon.
I don't even see him
investigating
on
the
this
dungeon.
map anymore.
Yeah, I'll be in
We
the
did law.
He left. He went back to the tavern.
He's in the.
I'm gonna go cook something. I'm gonna go figure out how to cook that King's Delight thing.
Well, that's a great note. As you look around the house for a place where there would be somewhere to cook, you very quickly realize that there isn't a place in the main house. It's in that subsection house, which is a kitchen, dining room, and storage space. And it looks like a lot of the dining room has been reclaimed to be storage space, which is probably why, when he invited you for lunch, he did not take you to the dining room. He instead had you eat outside out front. It looks like there is a lot of stuff present here. And as you're making your way over there, one of the four guards would have kind of attended you Not that they don't trust you, just to kind of unlock the door for you and let you in.
I would be cleaning up the place, making it usable to cook again. If
Okay.
I stumble
Oh,
onto
it's-
something, great. If I don't,
It's not dirty. No, it's totally clean. It's been used to cook. They just didn't.
but it has a bunch of stuff in it, though. You said.
No, in the dining room. In the dining room, they're using the
Oh.
dining room for storage. So like they weren't able to have you over for dinner in the proper dining room because it's got people's shit in it.
I'm
There
gonna
are
do that.
bathrooms everywhere.
Yeah.
There's shit in the kitchen.
What's wrong with the
There's
bathrooms?
shit in the kitchen?
What are you saying? I should put stuff in the bathrooms and use it for storage?
Oh,
Apparently people are just shitting everywhere.
Oh, there's
you said shit. I thought you meant actual shit.
stuff.
There's people shit everywhere.
There's people's
I
stuff
also
everywhere.
thought he said shitters, not shit, and I was like, yeah, there are a lot of bathrooms here.
God damn it!
He did say shitters a bunch of times.
I
Just
know.
making a joke. Come
I'm
on.
out of here. I'm out of here.
Well, I misunderstood that there was a joke, and I thought there was literal feces in the kitchen.
So, when they
Uh-huh.
when they go out with you, though, Silas, they do wear kind of like a long black jacket with a kind of goldish-looking badge, which is the same symbol that Fabulous Shen has over his front door. And he's also got a billy club kind of hanging from. He looks like a bobby, like a British policeman, and then he's got like the metal cap that you can see on them, kind of present there. But they put this overcoat over themselves whenever they go outside.
I would pay them literally no mind
Yep.
whatsoever.
He opens the door for you, lets you in, you go in, you start messing around with the kitchen. Alright. Sanat, you are researching. Bodhi, are you assisting in that?
Yeah, I'm pretty good with the Dewey Decimal.
Okay.
You know, I got this down.
So since this is
Slug's
higher
holding papers, I think.
since this is higher than advantage, what I'm gonna have you do is both of you roll investigation checks. And we'll be choosing the highest of all 4 dice.
All right, we got ourselves a little contest, Joseph. Let's see it.
It's not Bodhi.
Let's see it.
Hold on.
Okay.
Not by much.
So what you're
Not
researching
by much, everybody.
and what you're searching, you very quickly get bogged down in the methodology that seems to be utilized by Fabulous Shen. There's a
He's got a
lot.
weird shorthand.
It's not so much a shorthand; it's more or less a categorizational kind of methodology that just doesn't seem to be conducive to your train of thought. Like, Sanat, you're probably very much bookish, right? You trained in kind of the school of Heisrek. You know how, like, the Dewey Decimal System works. You know how to put shit into shit. You've also studied, like, in other libraries and courts, and so you know how courtiers and, like, you know, court functionaries put shit in stuff, have headers, have notes. You know, that's not this. This is very much just a person who is storing shit in their space, and there's very little to kind of like point you where you need to go. But if you're searching for the one specific item that you know about, you're able to find it in pen, not in physical, because then the whole thing would be out. But you know that it is in bag B, located inside chest A, which would presumably be inside of the holding cell.
Inside
Okay.
the holding cell?
Yeah, where they put the shit.
Oh, the actual vault.
Yeah, the vault. Vault is what we'll call it. Thank you.
Holding
That's a
cell
better
made me think dungeon.
Yeah, that's a better. Yeah, that makes more sense. You're right. Okay, so while you're doing that, Andy, what is Nyx doing?
Nyx is gonna hang out with Ezekiel.
Okay.
She's not exactly sure what to do.
And Ezekiel, do you have anything that you want to do in particular?
Ezekiel is very confused. He's not a very magic focused guy, so he's going to kind of just wander around the house
Okay. You
and
wanna-
just kind of.
well, you are a guard, like you're a city watchman. Like talking to the guards might be fruitful.
Oh.
That's an option. There's also, I mean, maneuvering about the house, but is there anywhere in specific that you want to go, if that's the case?
I feel like I don't know. Something was really off for me when we were in the dungeon. So Ezekiel probably just saw us like a look around the dungeon.
Okay.
All right, let's go there.
Yeah, and then if you want to work back, that's fine.
Where is that exactly? I
the
lost
left.
Was
that.
that Dre and a
To
motorcycle?
the left
helmet?
further?
do it for a second.
Yeah,
Oh, they're over here? Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was him, either that or on a bike.
Drake came in and sat in Shoney's chair with a motorcycle helmet on and left after 2 seconds.
So when you go down there and look around, is there anything in particular that you're interested in looking for, or is there?
I see that there are some notes over here, so I could take a peek at that.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like they are scrawled out like documents that refer to individuals who were held here and where they went.
Seems like some nasty business, Ezekiel.
There
See
are about-
this stuff all over the place?
There are about 3 of them that say at the very end note, "Exiled to the Sands."
What does that mean? Would the sands be something that I would know about?
Didn't you ever watch Mad Max?
You're surrounded by desert.
I think it's just outside. Yeah.
Okay, got it. It's like Dune, you throw them out there for
Exiled
the
to
worm.
the Sands.
Got it.
The tools on display are definitely very sickening. Like
Yeah.
there's some very kind of strange looking implements.
I see a cleaver, a hacksaw, pliers. No.
Ezekiel, look at looking at them. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Ezekiel, just?
Yeah, he would be kind of looking for this specifically. So,
Could I
yeah.
help him?
He'd have advantage already.
Okay.
A 12 is sufficient. None of them are dirtied. None of them look like they've been used, chipped, in any way. They look like they are just here for display. And the same.
So if I look at the, I'm sorry to interrupt. If I look at the metal beds with the holes in them, is there
Totally
blood stains
clean.
on them? No blood stains.
Totally
Wow.
clean.
Okay.
There are some blood stains in a corner and some on the floor, but everything is clean. And the blood stains in question look more like something you would get from like being punched than
Okay.
like being cut.
Okay. Huh, I wonder if this is like just for show, to scare. Well, why would you have this whole elaborate setup though?
I'm gonna
Have
be
you
right
met
back and
Shen?
bring groceries in.
Have you met Fabulous Shen?
Have you met Fabulous Shen?
I guess, but I mean, this is pretty elaborate though.
Yeah. The other thing you would note, the two of you, is there do appear to be grates in the floor on the west and on the east side, and then inside of the space for that specific there, but also in the torturer's room. It looks like the grates are, maneuverable. Like you could probably lift them up and get them up. It looks like they go into the ground.
Is there blood by the grates?
No.
Okay. Ezekiel, do you want to lift it up? I think I could probably squeeze in there. Oh, little guy.
He stepped away.
Okay.
I
That's
assume
alright.
he would,
Come
though.
back to that.
Ezekiel will lift up the grate and allow you access into the underspace. And if you go into there, kind of crawling around inside, all Metal Gear Solid, what you'll note is it seems that this leads straight out of town. And when you kind of get to a point where you feel like you've searched out the entirety of it, looks like it exits out, and you kind of come out to it. It's a good 100 or so feet away from the back end of the house, so outside in the desert. And immediately upon kind of like popping your head out, it's frigid cold outside, and it doesn't seem to have traversed too much into the tunnel you're in, which is strange because it's made out of metal, and like metal is very receptive to being chilled. It does not seem that that's the case for whatever reason. So you kind of turn around and bug your way
Okay,
back.
that's interesting, potentially magical information.
And you would note on the way back that this one appears to connect with the ones from the torturer's chamber. They all go in the same direction.
Okay.
And it's kind of like a 3-pronged fork that kind of leads to the one that leads out.
Makes sense, thanks.
So, Bodhi
Uther?
and... Oh, yeah,
Or
Uther.
Bodhi?
Sorry, we did say we were going to cycle back down to the top. Jeremy had said he did a thing, and I figured that was sufficient. But now that you're inside of the library at the top there, Uther, is there another plan of what you want to do?
I think I'll double back and just keep an eye on the bank.
Okay. Make a perception
Well,
check.
that's where we're going.
Is it site based?
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
So
11.
the only thing you would notice is as you kind of go in there, you kind of look towards the door, and you realize you were not given the key by the guy, by Fabulous Shen. But what you realize is that it's unlocked.
Well, that's not great. Are the guards still standing there?
No, I only pulled them down just so they were kind of referenceable. No one's actually talked to them, so they're kind of where I said they were before. There's one seated there, which is probably this guy here, the older-looking gentleman. She's down in the basement, and the two other ones are upstairs on their balconies.
I'll ask him. Hey, is this supposed to be open?
We were told to unlock it for you folks.
Oh,
Do you need the
Who?
keys?
who has the key?
He kind of raises up a key ring.
Is that the only key?
Nope.
Do you all have one?
Everybody besides Anna.
And Shen?
Shen doesn't have one. No.
Just the three of you?
Yep.
Hey, who unlocked the door?
Points at himself.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
No problem. And here, if you want them, he kind of hands you the keys.
No, that's fine. You go ahead.
Okay.
I'm real uncomfortable and I'm going to draw a weapon and just sit around in there,
Okay.
staring at all the bags and boxes.
Got it. As you're looking at them, you would notice that the boxes have locks on them. The large stone sectional kind of like containers. The best way for me to describe it is they're basically like, you know, when you go to like a cookout and they've got the big old cooler with like, you know, like stuff in it. It's like a cooler, but it's made out of rock. They're like coolers made out of rock.
Just like home.
Just like home, yes. But Bodhi and Sanat would arrive soon thereafter.
Hell
I
yeah,
don't-
we gotta leave.
I do not touch anything, but I'll kick some stuff around, knowing that things won't just fall out of these. So
Okay. So you're just going around them, like, kick stuff?
just mulling about,
Okay.
looking for anything that shouldn't be here.
Okay. Yeah, with that perception, it's not going to be much, but you can make an investigation check if you want. Yeah. So what you would notice is there's a couple of bag of holdings just kind of out. Looks like there's a couple of chests that have been opened, and the bags are set on like a small little table on the side there. It looks like they've been kind of, you know, some of them have been left open, so you can see that there's like a black void in them. Others have been kind of tossed to the floor, kind of in a almost annoyed fashion, you presume. But you can see kind of where they came from.
I didn't catch his name. Or I didn't catch your name, guard.
Billiam.
Billiam. Is this standard? I point at the bags.
So, the Master Shen had allowed access to it after you folks had finished with your lunch to a member of the guild. They had looked through their things, and as is customary, we leave them out for the day if they wish to return any objects that they took out, or wish to come back and put any objects that they, or put any other objects that they might want to put in. We return them at nightfall, which we haven't done because Master Shen told us not to. Leave everything as is for them.
Did the guild member take the item with them?
The guild member took an object with them, yes. They have a number of different bags and holdings present here.
And when they do that, do they check it out?
They do.
Okay, so there's a record of what comes and goes.
Yeah, it should be in Master Shen's documents. He would kind of explain to you the process. So when a person who has holdings here enters into the space, they'll enter into the foyer. Master Shen will come out of his office and greet them there. He will then call one of the guards, typically whoever's sitting there at the seat, over to unlock the door and allow them access. Master Shen will enter into the vault with them. They will stand near their object at that table, pulling it out. Master Shen will notate it in his handbook, and then the individual will leave out the same way. When Master Shen exits, the guard will lock the door behind, or lock the vault behind them. The person will then kind of have a talk with Master Shen in the foyer usually, and then Master Shen will return to his office with his notebook, and transfer it to a more permanent form.
And this is the exact condition the customer left this area in?
Correct.
Okay. Was something reported missing?
No, not that I'm aware of. When Master Shen left with them into the foyer this afternoon, it was me that was on duty. I noticed Master Shen was very defensive and annoyed. When they were talking, I didn't really pay too much attention, as it's not my job to do so. But I did note that Master Shen was on the back foot, and the guildsman was very irate. Something regarding something or another, an object of import to the guild.
So the state of these bags is not typical.
No, it is not. We would
Okay.
be putting them away in the evening time.
No, but the current, like, I mean, they look rather thrown about, haphazard.
Correct.
Okay. I'm gonna let the other two take over.
All right. So Bodhi and Sanat,
We need to find that bag.
where is it located?
Chest A, bag B.
Ooh, he remembered the letters. Okay, so if you move
He
over to
guessed.
I had him confused, and Joseph reminded me.
chest A, as you move over to it, is actually very close to where Uther is currently standing in game. You look at it, and it's pretty heavy looking, stone plate, but as you kind of move over to it to pull it up, you realize that it's not terribly heavy. Just seems to be a bit more stone looking. Definitely has a less heavy vibe to it. When you open it up, inside there are 3 bags, and each one has lettering on it, which you're able to decipher B, being the middle one. You pull the bag, it weighs 25 pounds.
And the object we were looking for, it was in the notes.
It's the gold scarab, yeah.
Gold scarab, that was the first thing.
That was the only thing you could like traffically kind of,
Oh, okay.
because your roll was pretty bad, but you were looking for something kind of that you knew about, so you were able to kind
Sure.
of, you knew
All right.
about when it came into the place, and you knew what it looked like, so you kind of had an idea of what you were seeking.
Then you want to do it, or should I?
I don't care.
I'm here if you need somebody to take a hit for you.
As you're doing that, I need the 2 of you to go ahead and make perception checks.
Sick.
0. He rolled a 0.
How's that possible?
-1.
really hard when
A 1 minus 1?
Yeah.
A 1
Okay.
minus
So you're
1.
very much invested in your process here. You
I sneezed.
open up the bag and
Yeah.
tell me how you do it.
I guess I'm reaching in there, and I am thinking about and or stating the words golden beetle scarab,
Yep,
and hoping it fills my hand.
it does not.
Does anything fill my hand?
Nope.
I'm just gonna shotgun beetle scarab golden trinket
You would know
golden
that
bug
the easiest method for you to learn
scorpions.
what is in this bag is to
Turn it inside
just
out.
Turn it inside out.
All right. Either help me make a little space here. There were bags on the floor.
You hear Billiam from the doorway because he was just talking to Uther, and he kind of followed you up to the door.
Uh-huh.
He says, "If you'd like, you could do it out here. There's a bit more space, and the rug will allow us
Okay.
to easily put it back in the bag.
Mark, here.
We've done this
Job
before."
security. Job security, William. I'm gonna close the chest, and we're gonna close the door behind us.
Okay.
And if the 3 of you are ready, Billiam included,
Okay.
look,
So as you
Just
close,
can't
so
be
we're
here if
sure.
he wishes.
Regardless of what's in this bag, we take no action on anything that's happening,
As you kind of get
we
the
shouldn't know.
bag out and start to prepare to do that, you hear a crash sound because everybody came out, right?
It was me. I'm fixing things. I dropped it.
No. You
We
said.
hear 2 crashes.
You
One
said
of them is
specific-
familiar.
I just want to make sure I heard it, Bodhi. You specifically said you came out and you closed the door behind you, right?
Yes.
So that
Yes.
means that Uther is in there by himself where he came out. Uther, you came out, right?
I wasn't really.
So you're staying in.
We were all gonna go out in the hallway and close the door behind us. Is what I was intending.
No, I was still screwing around in the room.
Okay.
Okay. You
So-
could be in the room.
You
I
know
just
he's
wanted
still in
it-
there. Do you
yeah.
close the door or no?
Yeah, I want to close the door. I don't want whatever's in here. If it's a bag man, I don't want to have access
So,
to more bags.
Those of you who are outside hear a crash. Uther, what you watch happen is what appears to be some sort of like standing kind of thing. It's almost like a paddle of sorts, kind of sitting on the side of the table where the bags are. You watch as it falls over and then immediately vanishes by sliding from left to right into one of the bag of holdings, which would be the one on the ground underneath the table.
Could I try to step on it, or is it too
No,
fast?
yeah, your perceptions have been shit. You don't even notice
Okay.
it until it happens. It's too
It
loud
was
a
a
thing to happen.
paddle-looking thing,
Yeah, basically, so
like an oar.
yeah, so what they will explain, and you'll see some of them kind of present inside of there. So he'll explain to you at a later point, but I'll explain it to you now since it's on offer. They use these paddles to kind of muster inside of the bag of holding just to make sure that there's nothing in there. That's the only reason that they have these things. But there's several of them inside of this space. You can see them kind of sitting around. They just have them on the ready so that if they need to whack something that's in the bag, they're ready. Anyway, it's basically
Who's they?
it's like
the
it's-
guards.
yes. So the best way to describe the look of it is it's like a cricket bat.
Oh.
Yeah, it's basically just a wider angled billy club.
Okay,
to
so
them.
something knocked that over, and that something went into a bag.
No, something knocked that over and then took the billy club into the bag.
Okay. You
Well,
did
hearing-
mention the
hearing
billy
the
clubs
sound.
before.
I'm gonna go like back in.
I draw 2 weapons.
Yep, and you're looking at the bag, and you would see that all the other bags on the table have like their ties cinched, like they've been closed. This one looks like it's been untied and opened, like very much like not ripped apart. Like it looks like it's been untied neatly and opened, and it's sitting there on the ground, kind of like mouth wide, and it looks like wide enough, just wide enough for the club to go through.
Secure that bag. The one out there.
I'll tie it closed. Should I close the door between us, or do you want me in there? Also, any activity out of Billiam?
No, so not back up.
I mean, I'm staying in the room. You'd probably want to make sure
I'm gonna
someone that has
hold
any
the bag
idea of the
closed.
arcane is in here with you to know what's going on.
I'm gonna do something stupid, but I do need you to be able to listen. So
So-
step back and close the door. I'm gonna close the portcullis door and dump it between the bars.
Real quick, just to confirm, Nix and Ezekiel, as you come up and are investigating, just a couple of other things I want to point out about this space. There is a table or desk near the prison cells, and it does look like it has a couple of implements, billy club-like implements, that are kind of present. One looks like it's been kind of fashioned in the shape of like, you're not sure what. It definitely does look kind of intentional. It definitely looks like if it were to hit somebody, it would probably hurt a bit more than just being hit by a regular club. And then the other club that's present looks like it has an iron shotted top, more of a mace than just a club. But yeah, basically a baseball bat with a club or a metal like binding at the top. The book here looks like it's just a leisurely book. And when Anna comes back down, she would have moved over to that space to kind of like sit there and hang out. Anna being the guard of the female persuasion.
Mm-hmm.
And
So this one's the club,
yeah, there's 2 clubs. Yeah.
and this is the one with the mace-like club.
Yep.
Okay. I'll grab this. I'll grab this one.
She kind of looks at you with a nod as she's sitting there reading.
And I would wink at her and
Can I help you with anything, adult?
no. And he starts twirling the club around in his hands.
Oh, it's pretty big for you. It's like
He would start twirling the club around with his hands and his
I'm waiting for a pun.
19 strength. No puns.
Oh.
You're just gonna wink and try to impress her. This little dromite thingy
Okay.
whipping this big club around.
She nods her head at you and doesn't really say anything in response and goes back to her book. And upon reading the title, you would note that it is called the book that she is reading. Hold on a second here.
Great title.
What obscure title?
The book she is reading by author.
No, the book that she is reading is called The Pilgrims of Arden Hollow.
We're not a bunch of readers.
And being a bard
Speak for
and
yourself.
relatively smart, you would know that The Pilgrims of Arden Hollow is a story of adventurers who braved the elements and left the safety of their home and traveled to kind of secure a new place on the frontier in Jernaris. There was a drow named Belgos. There was a elf named Valinay. There were all these great heroes that kind of traveled to this place to secure it for the benefit of the Ossur Vale.
Nice.
It was written by Jaren the Illuminated.
Blow out a lantern.
Do you two head back upstairs after that exchange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would
Sure.
presume with the traveling and then the research happening and all of that happening, you'd probably be coming up just as this whole shindig is kind of happening. This kerfuffle.
You know, out of like, Riziko's gonna come up and he's like, "Did anybody ever think just to put their hand in the bag and say Bagman?"
Ooh. Straight and to the point, Riziko. I like it.
That's all I know how to do is hit things and
I
take hits.
mean, it's
Yeah,
like you're
so-
sniffing out the problem.
I'm gonna be
Yeah.
real quiet, but Sonata, I want you to take a step back and close the door. I'm gonna reach between the door or the bars of this and just dump this bag there.
Okay.
So if something starts screaming and clawing at things, you know it isn't me.
Okay.
Ba, ba, ba.
So
I'm still outside with Billiam, right?
you you pull it back to the side of the door or where the bars are. You get behind the bars, close the bar door, locking it, sealing it, and then you reach through
I
the
won't.
bars.
I'm not gonna lock it because I don't want to be stuck in here.
Oh, I thought you were doing.
I'm-
You're pouring it out
I'm going-
towards them. You're not pouring it into the vault.
No, I'm pouring it in between the bars and the door, so they are ready to attack
Oh.
anything that should get through the door,
And it's
and I can
stuck in
slam
there.
a door into it. It is trapped in that 30 square feet.
I thought you were okay. I thought you were putting it into this space down here where you're.
No, that gives it 100 exits.
Or more.
Or somewhere between 1 and 500 exits. Yes.
More than fair. So you put it in that small center space. You deposit the items. A number of different articles kind of flood out into the space. The one that catches you kind of by a bit of confusion is the paddle. And then as you kind of like pull the bag open and kind of shake it and then look at it, you see that the bottom is torn. And as you kind of reset it, kind of checking to see if it works, the bag is no longer useful.
I wouldn't even bother to reset it. I'll just drop it.
Yep.
It'd be really uncomfortable in here.
So it got out before you got to dump it?
It's not in this bag, and maybe it never was.
But what tore it?
But all the contents got dipped, or they were all gone before you tried to dump it?
Nix, Bodhi,
Ooh, that's actually a good point. Yeah, because I was able to dump the stuff out, but it's also torn.
Nix, Bodhi, Ezekiel, and Sanat. I need the four of you to go ahead and make perception checks as you wait on the
I'm
other
gonna
side of the door.
succeed this time, guys. Don't you worry. Hey, there's another 0 in there,
My
but that's not
plus
the workout.
11 is still less than Bodhi's minus
So,
1.
Bodhi, you're,
Wait, I have cool glasses. Doesn't that do something?
You're fine. You got
No,
the,
yours are only for
you got-
flying.
You got the number. It's fine. So as you're all sitting there, kind of focused on the door, waiting for Uther to call out, like what's happening. There's the stillness. Bodhi, you get this weird sensation. You look down, and you're holding the bag of holding, the
Uh-huh.
one that you planned on depositing onto the ground. You see
Right.
an ink black hand with claws coming out of it, reaching into your bag, and as it comes out, it's holding the lodestar and then snaps back into the bag of holding. You can make a dexterity saving throw to try and catch it before it goes in. Otherwise, it's going right into that bag of holding.
Splug
Bag
has
man.
it inside of a backpack. Bodhi's not carrying.
Yeah, we don't have our bag of holding.
Slug has
Slug.
the lodestar?
Yeah.
What
It's
the
in it. The
fuck?
bag of holding with the lodestar is in a backpack being carried by Splug.
One moment, let me look at your character sheet. I did not catch that. I never caught that.
It was when
fine.
we were
It was on-
at dinner with
Put it on him. That's right.
with
that's
deception.
Right.
I
You're
got
right.
real uncomfortable.
Look,
and Splug
Lodestar
grabbed it.
is listed in my inventory, but Splug is carrying it.
Yeah, that's what I was checking. I was also thinking about how every time you guys check for it, I always ask who's got it, and it's always been Bodhi. So that's my fault. I'm gonna focus up.
Splug took the bag from Bodhi.
Plug saves the
But-
day.
But if Splug is at my side like he ought to be, and
Yes,
you want that to be a
Splug is
narrative
there.
beat,
That's going to happen. So Splug also. Let me get him on the table. I need to get
like
him on
he
the table.
better be.
Yeah, he would be with you. So, yep, he's staying here, so that makes sense. Okay.
Don't make him look like a bad boy.
I've got a backup plan. Don't worry. If this
what
doesn't
happens
work,
then?
I'm going nuclear.
Okay.
He reaches into Bodhi's Plug's backpack.
He's
and
coming
pulls it out.
out. This long, inky black arm is snaking out of the bag of holding that Bodhi is holding, reaching into the bag that Splug has, and has been caught pulling the lodestar out of Splug's bag, and is about to snake back into the bag of holding. So Bodhi,
So
what
wouldn't
should
that take a little
Bagman
bit? Wouldn't that
exists.
take a little bit longer, like as a process, than the other way? Just because I'm sure that Splug is not like
The
shoulder
DC
to
is
shoulder.
better by one.
he's standing
I'm
next to him.
I'm spotting it pulling the lodestar back out of Splug's bag.
Correct. It's in the in between. Basically, you
Right.
can see that it has the lodestar. If it gets like another moment, it's going to be pulling itself back into the bag, presumably.
Ain't bad. 18.
18 is good. You catch the hand. It is insanely strong. You grab
I
hold
bet.
of it, but everyone's attention snaps onto Bodhi holding this ink black hand with claws the size of Splug almost. Like massive, like just grabby hand. Holding.
I jump to it and try to grab onto.
Hold on a sec.
I tell Splug to run.
I've got a Splug token. I'm just gonna use this for a Splug token for now. Okay, so there he is. He's a
Oh,
goblin.
darling.
So you tell him to run. He's going to.
Yes, he's
Okay.
he's running.
He's running. He's going out the door. You said you're going to try and grab as well. Okay.
Yes, Ezekiel.
No, smallest first.
Bodhi, you have a hold of it, and you're able to catch it. So the spot reaction, and I will allow the first person who said they were helping to help, which would be
I'm not
Nick.
trying to grab it to grab the thing from him. I'm just trying to
Hold
help
it as well. I
Bodhi
get it.
keep the hold on it. Yeah.
I understand. Because Bodhi would have to make this check by himself. Now he gets to do it with advantage. So I
Thank
need
God.
to make a strength athletics check, Bodhi, to see
Thank God.
if you are able to keep the hand out of the bag. The DC
Let
is
go,
20.
Bodhi. Oh, let go. God damn it.
A strength athletics check.
DC 20.
Oh my god.
And that's my whole option.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
your
have five
final
magic at my
For,
disposal.
for this skill check, if you do roll a natural 20, you do succeed. So that is something I'm going to put on the table there. too.
Yeah, failed.
Okay. So
Oh, what a surprise.
you did not fail by more than 5. So what I'm going to
Correct.
offer you is 2 options. You can, knowing that
I'm
you
going
are,
in with it.
Okay, you already knew the second option.
I
You're
have the
slimming
second
it.
option.
You're sliming in there.
Whoosh.
I'm not letting go of this snake.
So
Whoosh.
could I also keep hold?
So you were kind of holding on to the arm as well. So,
I was.
I would say
I,
since you
I
only
can make
got
a strength check.
since it failed. No, that's not it. So since you were helping Bodhi keep a hold of it, you were jumping in to join in. You were really holding the hand. You were more or less holding the Bodhi. So I would say since Bodhi is going in, you can try and stop him from doing so. And that's up to you whether or not you want to.
To stop Bodhi from going in? I don't want to
Correct.
stop Bodhi. I want to go in with him.
That's the thing, though. You'll have to go in after him. You will not be able to It's not going to be like a train of people grabbing each other's ankles, flying into the bag.
But that image is so amazing, though.
We have been
right?
doing
I
some
wanna
Looney
see
Tunes
that.
shit lately.
It is pretty fun. Yeah,
And
fighting
this
a massive
this
chicken.
does follow. This does track with our Scooby Doo style
Come on,
today.
man. And
You know what?
Nix is so small, and he's got that.
Since you want it, I'll allow it. You're going in as well. Fine.
I'm going in.
Bodhi. Or sorry,
worry.
Nix. Bodhi doesn't have to breathe air for an hour.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
you're,
Didn't think of
you're in
that.
trouble.
But you
See
could
ya.
just you could help me. You could breathe. You could give me some like
Oh,
you know
God.
some give me some
Just
breaths.
climb inside
Okay.
me like an astronaut suit.
So I want to say
We'll
for
make this work.
Ezekiel, for Sanat, and Silas is not currently present. He's cooking. You watch as they go in the bag, literally in the way we described. So you see the last remnants of the hand with the lodestar in it shifting into the bag. Bodhi at the wrist, flying in after it, feet going like.
Yeah, and Nix's mouth is open. He's going, ooh.
And Nick's grabbing a hold of the ooze and like being
Real quick,
pulled into it
did-
by the Pseudopod.
Did it manage to get the lodestar, or was
Yes.
that what Bodhi was stopping with his
Well,
check?
So Zach,
No, he's
Zach
got it.
confirmed that Spud was
I
next
grabbed
to
his
Bodhi.
arm as he was pulling it back in. He has the lodestar in his hand, but he's also got me attached to
Okay,
the arm.
the check
And
didn't make
Nick's
him release
attached
it.
to me.
No.
Correct.
No, Nix is attached to the arm of the bagman.
Nick's
No, no, no.
attached to
Nick-
Bodhi,
Nick
who's
would have
attached to
grabbed onto
the arm of
Bodhi
the
because you were
bag.
trying to help
Okay.
Bodhi pull.
All right.
Because it's funnier.
It is
Yeah.
funny.
And the way I imagine it is because he failed the way he did. He was pulled in, and you were grabbing a hold
Okay.
of Bodhi and like being pulled in by his waist, legs, feet, squishiness. into
Episode
the
brought to you
box.
by Hannah
The
Barbera.
slime is kind of weird, Bodhi. The slime.
Stay
is
tuned for Herculoids.
When that happens, Riziko's gonna look to Sanat and be like, "Can we go in after, or?"
I don't think we can.
You third-
Honestly,
This fucker on the ropes.
You're in your
I'm
room,
small, but like
looking at the bag and starting to ask questions about it. And I'm assuming you're yelling out towards the door, right?
me.
You third.
I'm really just waiting, hoping something's
Well,
happening.
you definitely hear a kerfuffle. You don't, and you also hear "Splug, get away!" and then
Okay. Which way does the iron bar door open?
so it would open in towards you, but you didn't
Okay.
block it, so you can kind of
No. Yeah, so I'll open that and jump over the shit and go through there.
yeah.
Whack Sanat in the back of the head with the door.
weird.
Okay.
This is a fun one.
And Sanat and Ezekiel would be alone in the space with the bag of holding
Do it.
laying on the ground.
Uh,
Open.
Riziko's gonna try to dump it and see if that helps.
Are you sure?
I don't know. I can't go in it. I'm too big to go in it, right?
Do you really want to dump it?
I want to go in it, but I think I'm too big for that. Am I?
No,
Am I
that's
not?
not true.
I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's,
It's got a
it's like a 2
2
foot.
foot wide. You can
square.
squeeze
Okay.
into it.
You can
Alright.
shimmy into the
You're mostly-
bag.
Just go like this.
Yeah.
All right, yeah. And, yeah, Ezekiel, not knowing anything else to do, will jump in after him.
All right, it's a party now.
Okay, so you come out, you third, to watch. Then Bodhi and the Dromite are gone, and then you watch him kind of just like
You watch Big Dog climb into the bag.
climbing in the bag. Sanat probably like, what the fuck?
Am I? Do I know if going into this bag is going to like cause me any harm? Like,
There's no atmosphere.
You
there.
would know that
You
going into a
cannot
bag
breathe.
of holding normally is problematic, but something is obviously living in there. So
Yeah.
Something
And,
that would have to
and
do
if
that
it's not
environment.
habitable, Ezekiel, I have a plan.
I'm going with him. I mean,
this shit is so.
it may just be
Nick's got a
Silence
plan.
maybe by himself at the end of the day when everyone else dies.
Silence is the one that wanted to fight shit. That
When you
was,
get back, I know I'm really upset about this right now. Inside. I don't
You
care,
should be
but
in this
whatever.
bag, Silence.
Real quick, as Sanat, before you get in the bag, why are you going in there?
I retell everything that just happened.
I'm gonna grab the bag and say Lodestar and reach in.
Nothing happens.
It's not in there.
Everyone is in there.
Uther pumps a shotgun.
I say Nix and reach in there.
Nothing happens.
No, they're not.
So not you would very much realize that whatever is happening here is definitely confusing. The magic of the bag is either malfunctioning or being displaced in some way, controlled in another fashion,
Being
or
controlled.
they are no longer in that bag. which is scary.
Oh, we've traveled to another bag. Oh boy,
It's pretty scary.
this is fun. Best session in a while.
Well, I tell him
Guards.
again, I'm going after them.
Okay, I'm gonna instruct the guards to start inverting every bag in here. They'll have to inventory it later.
Do you want us to invert that one that you're going into, that everyone went into?
I'm not gonna go in. One of
I
us
was
has to
gonna say,
stay on the
don't do
material
that.
plane.
I'm gonna say don't do that as I go into the bag.
Start with all of the other ones.
Okay.
I don't know
so,
that they have enough actual space in the building to
You
do
look around,
that.
and you would know that Silas isn't present. Just to make sure, I want to make sure that is something we're making sure is on the table.
Where is Silas
The guard.
in the grand scheme of things?
The guard Billiam would say, "I believe Devin took him over to the kitchens."
That's in the other building, right?
Yeah, it's not too far away.
Okay. Would he have heard Splug running?
Yeah. Devin will
So
go
there's
recover
your
Splug.
there's your end, Silas. If you want,
Devin will go recover Splug.
you hear
and
the very familiar squeals of Splug running away from something.
as he's doing so, like he'll catch Silas, and Devin will put Silas to current. So as you're rushing back that way, Sanat, are you going into the bag?
Yes.
Oh my god, this is so wonderful.
TPK or some
Man,
crazy
Ether's got
weirdness.
some
I'm gonna
hefty
learn.
responsibility right now.
We know the relative stats of all of our friends. How long do I think the weakest of them can hold their breath?
1
I
hour.
can tell you, man.
That's Bodhi. That's gotta be Nyx at this point.
Other than
right?
people with
Maybe.
a special
I
ability.
don't know.
Gotcha.
If they want to tell you. They
Well, Nick's once froze to death in my arms.
I did instead.
I
of
have a pretty good idea of his fragility.
Yes.
Okay.
It's 1 minute per con score, right? Or one
Yeah.
plus per con
your
score.
cons.
1 minute
It's
plus
one what?
a minute for every point of con.
Oh, so I
modifier.
have 16
Okay,
modifier.
you don't have to
I
dump
have
it. I am counting 2
3
minutes, and I'm dumping the bag that they are in. They have 2 minutes to figure out what they're going to do. I want one
Jeremy-
guard.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
Before you do that, make a perception check.
24.
The bag has rents on the bottom. If it is inverted, it will no longer be a gateway to whatever dimensional space is present that they were forced into.
Okay, then I don't care about this right
Because you've already done that with a bag, you would know that if you do that, you do not have access to wherever they went. This, as it's being held open, is still active. The second you close it, it goes away. So keep that in mind as you make your decisions regarding flipping bags or doing stuff with bags.
Jump in.
I'm now concerned that I sent Splug
And
away with our
Sanat-
bag of holding.
When Uther brings this to your attention, if he does, do you, Uther?
Yeah, I'll point it out.
You would know that the bag is no longer a bag. If it were still a bag of holding, all the contents would already been deposited into the astral plane. That rent means that there is some connection either to the astral plane or in between the astral plane and the bag, which you would know is the in-between space where the bag man is said to have been located in your arcane, super, really good high fucking roll that you did a while ago.
Okay. So basically, this is a portal, not.
It is
not
now
bag at
just
this
a
point.
portal, yes.
I'm going to carefully place it on the floor in a corner then, with the opening facing up, and tell
Okay.
nobody to touch this bag. I'll put it in the bathroom.
All right. So as
Hey.
Smart.
you are going in, Bodhi, holding on to this thing, you very quickly realize that
This
this thing that you're holding on is much grander in size than you expected. As you're
Sure.
entering into the bag space, which is a very small, minuscule space, as you're aware, it's like a cubic size, is about the size of a room.
64 cubic feet.
Yeah, it's not massive. But this thing seems to expand beyond the boundaries of what you are considering this tight space. You then see a swirl of just things swimming around you. Some of them larger than they have any right to be, like a sword that looks like it's the length of the house, a shield with it as well, insanely large, a candle that's standing as tall as Uther and its wick still burning. A map appears to kind of displace on the ground or the ceiling? Wall? You're not sure what it is, but you really quickly realize that you are no longer holding it. It is holding you, and it is placing you on that map. In this process, Nyx is also placed on the map, and then eventually Ezekiel slams down onto the map, as does Sanat. When I say slam, I mean in a very strange sense. The speed, the force, everything feels like when you hit this map, it is going to hurt. But it does not. When you are placed or when you are touched and grabbed, there's no sense of feeling. It's almost as if there was no spatial dimensionality to whatever it is that's going on right now. And I will...
Can I offer resistance to being placed? Can I like coil myself around his wrist as a bangle?
You certainly can try for that. Go ahead and make a acrobatics check.
Thank you, froze.
He sure did.
No,
Hold on.
that was too much for him.
Print screen.
Meanwhile, Nyx thinks I'm really in the mood for Jello.
Print screen. Print screen? Oh,
My
it's good.
map change froze my stuff.
I just fixed him. He's back. Zach, you back?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So what did we get on that acrobatics check?
I didn't hear there was an acrobatics check, but
You
I
did,
am now
fully
rolling
froze.
it.
Yep.
12.
Okay. So
Nailed it.
you try and kind of snake your way around it, but what you very quickly realize is that the size it started off as, which you were able to get a hold of, grew
Right.
to the point where you kind of shifted off of it, and as it kind of grabbed a hold of you, you were trying to maneuver up it, and it was not moving, but it was staying where it needed to be. So as you were shifting yourself around it, the hand just kind of spatially changed.
It was just compensating.
It just seems to kind of spatially compensate it. Yeah, like it's
Can
not
I swipe the lodestar back from him?
sleight of hand. And because you're doing multiple things here, I'm going to
That's
give you
tricky.
disadvantage. However, I will let Nyx make the same check if he wishes.
He does wish.
So you do not succeed. You
Anybody
have
got
You have
inspiration?
advantage. I'm giving it
What?
to
You're
you
helping.
because you're
'Cause
not.
I was helping.
You're not helping. You're using his failure to benefit
And
you.
he was all slimy.
Yes. You grab a hold of the lodestar. It still places you down on the map. And it's basically this swirl of everything all at once inside of the bag of holding. Almost as if it was being flushed down a toilet, is the best way I can describe it. And
But as I grab hold of it,
you have
I'm
the
afraid
lodestar.
that it's. I'm afraid that it's going to be taken again, so I put it inside my pants.
Okay, we'll get to that in a bit. But as you're kind of like getting onto the space and trying to kind of understand what's going on, you see Ezekiel and Sanat, in that order, hit the ground. But the way that you see them and then the way that you see each other starts to kind of mess with your head. And I'm going to need saving throws here after this point. So you're not just standing there as everything seems to be swirling around you. You too are starting to swirl in this fashion as you hit. So I
That
need
is so
everyone
cool.
to make a wisdom saving throw.
Oh, my worst.
Ezekiel, you're frightened. If you're immune to the
Oh,
frightening condition,
shit.
you're
I
fine.
am sick.
Nyx,
I'm
you are
frightened.
frightened. Bodhi, you're fine. Sanat, you are fine.
I've
You
got to
you
use
two-
this kind of shit.
Yeah, Bodhi's been spaghettified
Oh,
enough.
psychological torture.
Ezekiel
Let
and
me roll
Nyx.
twice.
Shake off the kid gloves.
So,
I'm drinking green tea all day.
Sanat, you are familiar with arcane like methods of travel. This is not too dissimilar from just teleportation. Like it's just drawn out over a duration. But yeah, we'll get back to you folks here in a second. We're gonna snap back out to the house. Uther, you set the bag placed there. Silas, you come into the house after Devin kind of put you up to speed. You look at Uther, and then
What's going on? What we doing?
They all went in the bag, and I run toward the master's chamber.
oh, I thought you were gonna say the bag.
I was gonna say, are we going in the bag when he runs by?
That's your decision to make.
Keep pumping that shotgun.
Are you gonna tell him that I told you
Taunted.
it's a portal, like not a bag anymore?
John? Would
Yeah.
15
I don't
have
understand
saved?
it, which means nobody else in the party is going to understand
With
it.
what?
Would a 15 have saved? Because I have advantage.
No.
We scared.
The DC was 18 on the nose for Bodhi, by the way.
Holy
Yeah.
shit.
Gotcha.
Pretty high.
Surprised I passed that. Like wisdom's not super high for me.
It's pretty good. +5 is
It's
not
not
bad.
very high for me.
You have proficiency in the save. That's the key. So as you kind of stare there, Silas, into the bag, you can see that there's this strange kind of swirl in the blackness. Where, like, if you look at a bag of holding, it's just like a dark space, right? And that's where the
Yeah.
extra dimensional space is. But there seems to be this strange kind of swirl to the darkness. And he said that they went into the bag, which is not something you think is possible.
I kind of shrug, and I'll just kind of put one foot in and try to kind of step down into it and see what happens.
Plug your
Like,
nose.
what's
Gotta
going on?
maneuver
Yeah.
your way in. So here's
Yep.
the fun last bit that we'll do. So
He can hold his breath too.
yeah, no, but there's no problem oxygen wise. You guys seem to be fine
See?
oxygenated. But
Oh.
I do want to explain though. This is the funniest bit. So as you folks are being acclimated to the things, and the sizes are very off skew, you see a massive lizard foot descend out of the darkness above you and start moving towards the map. It then starts to shrink as it gets closer, and then a whole ass lizard person the size of you guys descends and hits. But for a second, you literally have this like Godzilla-like presence of Silas's foot coming down to touch you. It seems that size isn't a thing that's relative here, and it just seems to be kind of connected to the situation or place that you're in. So as you kind of stand on this map, this strange map, everything starts to kind of balance out and stop spinning, and you can see a massive dark shadow in the distance. There's kind of like a strange kind of glow backlighting it a bit, creating a silhouette. You see two bright red eyes, and then, with a strange sense of light that you don't know where it's coming from, a massive smile filled with razor-sharp teeth shines in the silhouette. And that is where we'll end the session for tonight. Thanks for watching those that did, and we'll pick up next session as we learn more about the nature of hunger. Thanks for watching.